Becoming a full-time artist without using social media is absolutely possible, and the best way to do it is through experience enhancement techniques. And so let's talk about how we can ritualize the customer experience, make it more memorable, and make it different from every other experience of life. So I'm an artist, and part of the art business is inviting people for an open studio show. Now, what you might expect is that artists are extremely creative, extremely original, extremely unique, and so they must be able to create the best, most original collector experience possible. But what actually happens in the art world is that almost all studio visits are extremely boring. And why are they so boring? Because they are the exact same as every other open studio show that you can imagine. People come in, they watch art, the artist talks about it, mostly in a boring manner, and that's about it. And if that's the only thing you have to offer in a marketplace where millions of people are fighting for about 300 spots, then guess what? You're going to lose. Well, let's take a look at what the legendary, the greatest of greatest companies are doing compared to the good companies, the great companies, but not legendary companies. Let's take the best toy manufacturer in the world, the best toy company, Lego. So here's what they would do when executives who are buying toys for large retail companies would come in. They would create some kind of art installation almost, where they would ask the executives to wear overall suit, wear some overall for the shoes. Then they would enter the first room where a table would be put upside down on the ceiling with other things upside down. Then they would enter a second room where there was a television screen with a woman giving birth, sounds of a woman giving birth, screaming, things like that, a complete chaos nature. Then they would enter another room where there were crystals lined up as some kind of vaginal portal where they had to go through some kind of bird symbol. Then when they came out of this vaginal portal, they would enter another room where there were oversized pants and oversized things to kind of give them the illusion that there were some kind of toddler. Now, why was Lego doing that to very rich executive people? Well, they were doing that to transform their experience, to bring those minds of those middle-aged perspectives, those middle-aged men, back to being a toddler, back to being a child, putting them in clothes that were a symbol of them becoming a father, going to a hospital where you also have to put those clothes on. And so why were they doing this? Well, they were creating a particular type of customer experience that was just extremely unique and that would have some kind of psychological benefit that would drive sales. And so let's go back to our open art studio example. And let's say you would do the same thing. You would ask those collectors that come in to wear protection for the shoes, to give them an overhaul of some sorts, to protect them for paint splatters. You also ask them to wear some kind of art handler gloves that are very fancy and give them some kind of different experience. Now, just doing that is extremely easy, extremely inexpensive. We are not making some kind of art installation for collectors to go through with several rooms. No, this is just an overall, some gloves, some protection. Well, this on itself will make this whole art studio visit a memorable experience because they don't get that anywhere else. The reality is that these collectors never wear overalls, and the act of dressing up in something you've never dressed up before has some kind of psychological change in your brain that completely transforms the experience. And so now you're doing some kind of example painting, some small little thing, they're watching, the whole thing is a great experience. And more importantly, 6 months later, when those collectors decide to share their passion, to share what they are doing with their lives, with their friends, and they invite them over to go with the collector to some kind of open studio, which open studio are they going to choose? Are they going to choose one of those boring ones that is the same as everything else? Or are they going to choose something that's memorable, something that's different, something that's experiential in nature? Now, I'm not saying that good looks, amazing art, being extremely funny, having an amazing personality is not going to have an impact. Of course that's going to have an impact. But let's say you don't have any of those things. Can you still shine? Can you still be different? Can you still be a purple cow in a field of white cows? Of course you can, with a simple change in customer experience. Now, what's the power of these customer experiences that goes beyond just being different than every other experience they can get? Well, there is a particular type of psychological impact that comes from ritualizing a particular experience. Let me explain with an example from my country. I'm from Belgium, and Belgium is a beer country. If you look at the 500 richest families in this country, you will see 40 breweries or some kind of beer export type of things. Beer is a very big thing. And when you look at, for example, a beer like Orval, there is a particular ritual to this beer. You have to pour it in a particular way that generates the right amount of foam. And this small act of having that ritual transforms the customer who knows about this, who knows how to pour it in that particular way, into somebody that is part of the in crowd, somebody that knows something about this brand, about this particular type of ritual, this experience that most other people don't know. And this is very powerful, because this person that now knows this will go to a bar and will see somebody else pouring it in the wrong way, and they will feel a little bit superior to this person when they order their overall, have a particular experience that is just a little bit more. Or the other way around, they see somebody who pours it the exact right way and they feel connected. They feel part of that community, and they see that that person knows what they know. Now, for some of you who are not beer experts, trust me, this is a very big thing. People in Belgium will order the beer with the bottle and the glass so that they can pour it themselves, because that's part of the experience, and because they don't trust the experts serving beer in the bar to pour it the right way. They don't trust that. Now, do these companies know this? Of course they know this. Do they design their glasses in a way that beginners cannot pour it properly? Of course they do that. And why do they do that? Because making it a little bit harder transforms that community in some kind of way. And these customers that now know that, they now become loyal. They will now repurchase this particular beer over and over and over again. And so going back to our customer experience in the open studio setting, the simple act of making them wear an overall, making them wear art handler gloves, making them wear protection for the shoes, making it harder to consume your art, that simple act will transform those customers in being part of the crowd, because now they know that they will get that at your studio. And so again, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, when they have to decide which studio to visit, they will decide one that showcases their knowledge, that showcases how much they are part of the in crowd, how much more they know than other people. And so it's not just about the art. Of course they want great art, but it's also the great experience, because if you're a collector and you can share with your friends a transformative experience that's different, then you now suddenly look like the collector who knows about these things. They know about the cool studios, they know about the cool artists. Now, I just gave you one example. Overall, handler gloves, protection for shoes. That's it. That's super easy. You can expand on this experience as much as you want, or create a completely different experience as long as you create one, because in this world of millions of competitors for only 300, 400 spots, whoever has the best customer experience wins the game. Building your business through word of mouth is one of the hardest things to do, but also one of the most powerful things to do. Now, there's one problem with this type of strategy, and that is that it's pretty advanced. It's not a beginner strategy. You already need to have collectors that you can drive towards your studio and things like that. If you're searching for a beginner strategy, I've plenty in my series, How I Became a Full-Time Artist. I'll link one in the description, and Jens screens that said, get the hell out of here.